Today we're going to be talking about hearing protection. I have two different models here from Saccater, and we're going to talk about the differences between the two, as well as the build, the fit, stuff like that. So let's get into it. Starting with the build, the Focus is a silicone material, nice and comfortable, like very nice. Nozzle is under 5 millimeters. I don't think anyone's going to have any problems with either of these for fit. Both nozzles are under 5 millimeters. But yeah, I actually found the Focus to be very comfortable. It's my preference when it comes to the comfort. The Moment, it's a hard material, but it does have an acoustic filter. So the frequency response you get out of this is a little different than what you would get out of the Focus. They sound extremely different, and I will talk about that in a bit here. But yeah, kind of a cool design though. I'm actually going to give these to my wife. I think she'll like them. So anyways, perfectly fine, nice and comfortable. The one complaint I have here is the tips. The tips just wouldn't stay in my ears personally. Now that said, I have a hard time finding silicone tips that will stay in my ears. There's very few that I get a good fit with silicone tips. But these were just not one of them. Like, unfortunately, they just wouldn't stay in my ears. They might stay in yours. Everybody's ears are different, but my ears have, specifically, they have a problem with silicone tips. I usually use foam tips for that reason. So I had to use the Moondrop spring tips. I found those were the best for being able to still be comfortable, still sounding good, being able to fit in the case, because the Dunu S&S tips, they wouldn't quite fit. They're too long of a tip to let them rest in the case. So yeah, Moondrop spring tips are kind of where I landed for these. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The tips, they're kind of your basic tips you would often get in a lot of IEM packages. And then for me personally, those tips just don't tend to work with my ears. The cases, they do come with the cases. They're quite nice. They have a little hole here, which makes it so that the lanyard can actually come out of them. Yeah, no real complaint there. Then those also come in their own puck case that has all the tips, stuff like that. The accessory, the lanyard here, it is an additional cost. It's something you have to buy separate or as a package deal, but I think it's worth it personally. Only because I have a fear of dropping my hearing protection, IEM, true wireless, whatever, into the toilet. It haunts me. Like, I don't know. Anyways, I like the security of having something around my neck so that if it does pop out, it's not going into the toilet. These hard shell puck-like cases, totally fine. Kind of nice it came with that as well as these. So yeah, overall, I don't mind them. I think that they're pretty comfy. They feel good. I like the lanyard. I would pay the bit extra for something like that. And I like, how small the case is, how small the package is, how comfortable they are overall. Only thing I don't like about the build and accessories and stuff like that is the tips. They just don't do it for me. Anyways, build, fit, that kind of stuff out of the way, let's talk about the sound. So the Focus, it doesn't have that filter design, and it is attenuating the dBs. Like, it's doing a better job at protecting your hearing. It's cutting out more overall, as you can see represented in this graph here. These are from the company, so I don't have any information beyond the perimeters of their graphs, but the Focus is cutting out significantly more sound. It's going to do a better job at protecting your hearing. That said, it does come at the cost of, it's a little hearing protection-y, when you got like a completely blocked ear canal, like you just got the foam plugs and you put those in. It's kind of like that. It's a little bit on the, like if you're at a loud concert, you're going to get a lot of the bass. It's going to sound a little bit kind of muddy per se. But personally, it's the one of the two I like better. I find just it blocks out more noise. When it came to like studying, going to school, stuff like that, I liked the Focus way better. That said, it does have that bit of like that isolating effect where you can occasionally hear your heartbeat and things like that. It's kind of like, you know, being trapped in a jar. It does have that effect. Whereas the Moment, it does do a decent job at kind of not doing that. It sounds more open. It sounds more clear. It's not doing as good of a job at getting rid of the sound. Like it's only like, as you can see, side by side comparison, it is blocking out less sound. But the trade-off being, you get a little bit of a clearer sound and it doesn't feel so isolating. You don't hear your heartbeat. That's why I think my wife is actually going to really like these. I'm going to give those to her for when we go to concerts, because yeah, she hates hearing protection because that isolating effect. She doesn't like that feeling. The Moment did a really good job at not giving me that feeling. Very nice. So those are going to be going to her, and I think she's going to really like them. The Focus, those are going to be staying with me. I actually really like them. So I'll match the graphs up a little bit better so you can kind of see a little bit more of what the frequency response difference is when you because the first graph, that's showing you like what's getting cut out. Second graph, I'm going to, you know, match them a little closer so that you can kind of compare the frequency response. And as you can see, the Focus is kind of, it doesn't necessarily sound like how they look as well. These are store or like company graphs, so I don't have like the full range, anything like that. I only have what they gave me. But for me personally, yeah, the Moment just sounds pretty clear. It's not blocking out as much. It does impact the timbre. Like, it's not as natural of a timbre as, you know, not using them. But it is better than most hearing protection. So it is doing a better job at not completely goofing up the frequency response at your eardrum when you're at something like a concert. I think it's a great choice for a lot of people like my wife, who really wants that more open kind of sound, but needs hearing protection when you're at, you should be wearing hearing protection when you're at concerts. I even wear them at movies sometimes. Like, the world's loud, you know? So, big advocate for hearing protection. It's important. But yeah, I think the Moment's, that's where it kind of shines. That's where it's going to be better for a lot of people. Me personally, the Focus with the a little bit more comfort that comes with the silicone, and I do like that it is blocking out more sound. I think that the Focus is a better choice for me personally. Overall, I think that they're a perfectly fine product. I can't say I don't recommend them. The only thing really is, if you have ears like me, you might have to buy a different set of tips. Me, it was the Moondrop spring tips. That's what did it for me. But for you, the stock tips might work just fine. I just have really weird ears. Other than that, though, at their price, you know, for a reusable, nice set of hearing protection with a case, yeah, I think it's totally fine. I think it's an alright buy. It's a great option. I like seeing that stuff is on the market now that is doing acoustic filters and kind of trying to overcome a lot of the issues with hearing protection when it comes to the overall tonality and how things sound live. Because when you use a completely blocked off type of hearing protection, it impacts the sound dramatically. Like, there's no getting around it. But you need to do it. Like, if you want to protect your hearing, because you only get one set of ears, hearing doesn't regenerate. It's just best to wear hearing protection. Yeah, I like these quite a bit, and they're affordable, under that $50 mark. That to me is good, because the hearing protection I normally use in a lot of places with the adjustable filter and all that stuff, that's not as affordable. That is over the $100 mark, and yeah, that can be a stumbling block. Whereas under $50, I think this is a totally fine buy. So overall, I think it's a good product. I don't have much to complain about other than the tips, and they sound pretty decent. For hearing protection, you know, can't really complain. I think they're pretty decent. So if you have any questions for me, leave them in the comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.